Yo, what's up, ladies? This is Alex from My Foot Traction 2.0, and into this video, we're gonna make this like this because I wanna read off of my notes, and I wanna do this. It's actually fun. This is gonna be about Wu Wei and about effortless effort. This is a concept that's very interesting to me, a concept that I applied a lot in basketball, and a concept that you guys will definitely have fun learning about. And this is something that I learned more when I was learning pickup. So let's just start. All right. So Wu Wei, definition of Wu Wei, and according to this website, it says Chinese literally means non-doing. Is an important concept in Taoism. It means natural non-action. Okay. Or in other words, action that does not involve struggle or excessive effort. Wu Wei is a cultivation of a mental state in which our actions are quite effortlessly in alignment with the flow of life. 1 second. All right. So, how is this important? All right. This is some of my notes I took a couple months ago from learning about this, and it says, adaptive unconscious is the arsenal of skill that our conscious mind possesses, which doesn't require much thought. Any behavior we want automatic needs to be embodied. So this is very similar to when I was talking to you guys about when I was learning to shoot the basketball, where you cannot force being a good basketball player. That's something that cannot be forced. You cannot become a good basketball player when you play basketball. You can only become a good basketball player when you're practicing the fundamentals so that they become second nature. The issue is that most people don't allow their skill set to become second nature because they want to get to the future already. They want to get the quick outcome. For example, in basketball, there are two types of players. Players who play basketball in pickup games a lot, and players who practice more than they play. What's the difference? One enjoys the game. One plays basketball in the competitive nature every single day. The other one practices. Which one do you think is going to be better? The one who practices the fundamentals as opposed to getting the quick rewards of playing the game. The issue is that in order to achieve Wu Wei, which is the effortless effort of the action itself, you have to go through the effort that is required through the self-discipline, is wax on and wax off. And that's the part where people don't understand how to get to that point. And in order to get to that point, you have to have a teacher that's with you and guiding you and giving you instructions, kind of like Mr. Mayahani from the Karate Kid, or you have to have an extreme obsession about the fundamental of whatever skill it is you're trying to achieve. Because your natural inclination is to actually try to get to the end part faster than you can. But what you have to do is literally understand that in order to be a master in anything in life, you have to go through the initial struggles. First care. So now another thing is that Wu Wei is also the flow state that you experience when you're learning something, like the flow state, all right? And so you must care about the action itself to access Wu Wei. So you cannot just do something out of, like kind of like half-ass, right? Like Wu Wei is more about doing an action that you really, really love, so that you're not thinking about it. That's what flow state is all about, For example, a drunk person can fall and take a hard fall a lot easier than someone who's sober. Why? Because somebody who's drunk, their muscles are relaxed. Their muscles are very relaxed, you know what I'm saying? So even though they fall, they won't get hurt that much, right? So that's what happens is that when you're in a state of Wu Wei, which is to say, when you're on that automatic mode of, you know what? Damn, I'm not doing too good with this live stream. To be perfectly honest with you, I should have rehearsed this. I should have rehearsed this live stream, man. Damn, man. Oh man, this is not good today. I'll tell you that. Oh man, this is like fucking up on camera. Thank God I'm not on camera. It makes no sense. Absolutely no sense. Actually, I have some notes on one itis. Yeah, I think I'm gonna finish this. Yeah, this is not good. I see the viewers going down right now, and let me put this in private. You guys never gonna see this ever again, okay? So no, it's not fine. It's not fine, okay? It's not fine. All right. Let me see. I'm reading some of the notes. So these are some notes I took It says some girl. Okay, so this is a note that I took a couple years ago about what you call it, about when you become obsessed about a woman, right? Like when you become obsessed. So this is some of the notes that I took. So it says some girls are just awesome, and it's difficult to forget, right? The key to letting go of one itis is building a life where your validation doesn't come from the women, but it's hard because society measures your worth with the amount of women or the quality of women you have. Don't believe me. Don't believe me. Value. Watch. Look at people walk into a club with women and notice how they react. People who thought I was lame changed their opinions of me as soon as they saw that I had a beautiful girl next to me. As soon as they saw me walking in with women, suddenly I was liked. So as you can see, your value as a person, sadly, as a man, is valued depending on the types of women you have. Like the pinnacle of success for a man is the types of women they have, like the amount of women they have and whatnot. So it's kind of sad, you know. Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me? Yeah, you guys can hear me. Okay. So another one, he says, one itis is the ego not accepting that someone doesn't think you're enough. You see, the reason why some people become obsessed about other people is because the people who we become obsessed about are the people who don't want us. So the ego naturally becomes inclined to get their validation because it didn't validate them. So it says, especially when they treated you like no one ever has, you buy into it. It's hard not to. You see, especially if somebody treats you good or makes you feel like the person you always wanted to be, it's gonna be a lot harder to let go of them. Validation is like being paid with counterfeit money. It gets cashed, but it won't convert. You see, so the validation you get, yeah, it's nice. It's like money, but guess what? When it comes down to the nitty gritty to convert it into something meaningful, it cannot convert. You see what I'm saying? And yeah, you guys can't see me. I'm in bed right now because I'm reading off of my notes. Talk about a guy. Okay. I don't know about this. The key to be free. This is all a fairy tale that ends. No one wants to see the Cinderella after 10 to 15 years. In order to settle down, you must have options, or else you'll be like a hungry person who takes anything. If you're talking to a friend, the smell will distract your senses unless you are full. In other words, this is the reason why I talked about this is because of this, right? As a guy, whenever you want women, whenever you become needy, if you see a beautiful woman, you're gonna change your behavior. You're gonna change how you are. You're gonna change how you treat them. You're gonna change your personality. That's because you value women more than you value yourself. It's kind of like when you're very hungry and in a restaurant and you see food passing by. If you're very hungry, you're gonna be noticing the food passing by. But let's say you're full. Suddenly the food passes by and you feel no interest to look at the food. Why? Because you're full. And that's the same thing with things that catches our attention, with things that makes us think. When we value someone too much, we think about them. Now, the reason why sometimes we value people a lot is not because of their inherent worth, but because of our illusory lack of self-worth, the worth that we put onto ourselves, that we believe we are. You see, like we think we're not enough, so as a result, anyone is more valuable than us. So that means we value everyone's opinions. You know, so what's so that and this is another quote. It says scarcity breeds obsession. You see, scarcity breeds obsession. Let me see. Yeah, scarcity breeds obsession. So the more needier you are, the more prone you are to be needy to people. Scarcity causes our emotions for one person to come across as they're special. The lack you have now, scarcity doesn't mean the amount of people in your life, but rather the amount of validation you get. The amount of validation that you need in order to stay afloat. That's what scarcity is. So the more scarce you have, the more scarce you are with positive emotions, or which is worse, the fewer things you have in your life that brings happiness, the more scarce and the more needy you're gonna be. The more easier you are prone to be attached to things and people. So what you have to do then is to literally become aware of your need. It's not to fill your need with things, but to just notice it, because it's always there. Our need is always there, but we're just not noticing it because we keep looking on the outside to find happiness. So something that I taught men was a few things. A, borrowing abundance from the future, which is knowing that you're going to succeed, seeing it in your mind and being okay with the current situation because you know there is an inevitable destination that you're going to. I call that borrowing abundance from the future. So whenever a girl would reject me, I would literally see myself getting other women, being me, being an attractive person. And guess what? It made me non-needy because I knew that, guess what? This is just part of the process. The healthier thing to do, which that wasn't healthy to be honest with you, but still worked temporarily. The next best thing to do is to literally break down the physical sensation of being needy. Literally break down the physical sensation so that you could remove the mental concept that you have of the emotion, where it's not just, it doesn't just become tightness here and there, but now it has a mental concept, which is to say, I feel this because of this. I feel this because of that. Because of that, the primary problem rather than the cause, which is the physical sensation. So when you notice it clearly, you become more present because you see it for what it is. When you notice the thoughts and emotions and the mental images, you lose presence because you begin to project yourself into the future for hopes and happiness, or you begin to project yourself back into the past because of regret and shame. Make sense? Am I making sense? Let me see. La, la, la. You guys are gonna have to tell me you guys hear me because some of you guys are saying I can't hear you, and if you can't hear me, then that's an issue. That's a big issue, man. So it's, let me know if you guys hear me. If you can't hear me, then it's you, man. Let me know if you guys hear me, please. I'm not gonna keep going unless I see it. Okay, all right, good. Thank you. All right, so that's one thing. When you stop caring about the outcome, your subconscious mind will pick up on what works and what doesn't work. Treat life like a video game that you continue to die in. Like with your successes and failure, treat it like a video game. If you fail again, you're gonna die and you're gonna reverse it right there and try again. See, and treat it like a video game. You want to explore, you want to experiment and explore and try different things out. Like I'm trying right now. I'm just reading you guys some of my notes that I take when I'm like reading books or even like having little epiphanies and whatnot. So I was like, yeah, fuck it, right? Let me just give them some of this. You guys, I didn't put a lot of videos this weekend. 1 second. All right. Here's some things that you guys might like. 1 second. Yeah, like I read Tony Robbins' book and shit, man. I took a whole book's worth of notes of his books. Let me tell you what, man. That book is long as shit. Homie, you should chill out. Here it is. Okay. These are some notes I took, all right? Says, the only way to separate yourself from your voice is to stop viewing it as you. Now, this is talking about the mind, and when you think a lot, when you are identified with the voice in your mind, you know that the voice that you hear all the time that you cannot stop thinking. You know when you say I cannot stop thinking, that voice, that's the voice that I'm talking about. Okay. The book is called Awaken the Giant Within. But if you want a better book, read The Success Principles by Jack Canfield. Much better. So it says, the only way to separate yourself from your voice is to stop viewing it as you. It's a voice talking and you are listening. If you look at it as an object and someone asks you, who is you? You'll naturally say none. The one who's me is the one who's aware of those objects. But for the most part, when somebody says, who are you? The voice arises and says, I am me. But in reality, the voice is not you. The voice is just another object in your screen of consciousness. You are the one who allows the voice to resonate. You're the room where the voice lies. But for the most part, we confuse ourselves with the object in the room, with the objects of space. But we forget that we are the space. And that's why we believe that we are our thoughts. And as a result, we begin to have an identity that's based on the thoughts that created in our minds. Oh, I got you. Don't worry about it, Mimi Wallies. I'll give you strategies on how to observe the voice. So as long as you pick and choose which voice you consider to be you, you're still in that cycle of thinking you're the voice in your mind. If thought is watched objectively, it'll notice it's meaningless. Thinking is an attempt to control things that are out of your control. Trying to wish it doesn't rain. This does. Okay, I'm just reading the notes. All right. So this is how you did observe the voice. Right. This is some of the tactics you could do. Okay. So literally begin to listen to your voice almost as though you're listening to the radio. Right. Just notice how you're listening to me. Right. You're like listening to me. Right. You're listening to me. Right. You hear that? Okay, and now listen. What you should do then is when you meditate, become interested in your voice like you're listening to the radio. You're just listening. You're not thinking, but you're listening passively. And that's a way that you could do, which is I like to call it the listening to the radio technique. So fucking straightforward, right? So creative, and that's a simple way to observe the voice. Yeah, like I wrote so many notes about so many different books. By the way, this video is going to be in private. I'm not going to post this. I'm just going to leave it in private. So if you guys catch me, good. If you guys don't, well, you know, be a little bit more alert next time. Yeah, that's it, man. If you guys have any questions, I'll bounce right now. All right, I guess not. Anyways, it's Alex from mindfultraction.org. Again, this video is going to go private. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Bye-bye.